Welcome to High Heels Happy Hour.
Welcome, welcome.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Ingrid.
And if you are new to this podcast, welcome. We're so happy to have you. And if you are returning, welcome back.
And thank you.
And thank you for tuning in again and being a regular. So, today we're going to continue our kind of health talk from last week because it felt like we could go on forever. This is a subject that we feel super strongly about, both as human beings, but also as business owners, that it's so important to, again, a healthy company is run by a healthy leader.
Yeah, you don't realize how much.
Yeah, it really matters.
Yeah.
So we're going to dig in a little more to that today, kind of from a personal perspective, what we do and kind of what works for us. And hopefully that will help you as well. But let's start with a check-in. Ingrid,
Dun.
what's been great?
A lot of things, but in particular, so I was a speaker this past week at a Gold Star female veteran luncheon, which was super humbling. I mean, a lot of us, I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I didn't want anybody to know. And I said that at the luncheon, or it was like a brunch, brunch. And it was the majority consent, like that was a thing.
Really? Not let people know that you were a veteran?
Yeah.
Why?
A lot of
it was like a sense of pride.
Female, male, yes. Female, no.
Oh, interesting.
So it was really interesting because when I finished my talk, they were like, "Oh gosh, yeah, me too," and I was like, "Huh." Wow. So
the things you don't know, huh?
It was very, and then they weren't really open to talk about what had happened to them.
Okay.
It was a lot of really, really quick. There was a lot of jobs that female veterans did in the past wars that were only recognized if you did it as a male.
That's
one
a whole
instance
other episode.
So it was just so eye-opening. Like, for instance, the surgeon, you couldn't be a female surgeon.
Wow.
So it was really humbling. It was really awesome. Yeah, so it was really cool to just talk to other female veterans and know that now it's a lot easier to talk about and to just be proud of what you did, no matter what you did.
Yeah.
So that was me this week.
Okay.
So how about you?
Well, let me just plug this in. I think that's sitting a little. There we go. So I've been traveling a lot. Feels like I haven't been home in a while. I was in Sweden first. My mom had a big birthday that I got to celebrate with her and her friends, and it was really fun. I saw a lot of my family and cousins that I haven't seen for years, so that was really fun. And then I was home for 24 hours, and then I went with my daughter Bella and her 8th grade school trip to Washington, D.C. and New York on a bus. Really fun. I mean, of course, you're with 8th graders almost 24/7. We did get some time to sleep.
So on a bus with 8th graders.
On the way home, we were on the bus for 23 hours.
Oh.
So, yeah, we were ready to come home. But it was really fun. It was a lot of, we do a lot. I did the same trip with our son, but you squeeze a lot into these days. They get to see a lot, and sometimes you can't really appreciate it at the moment. But I know from having done the trip with my son that they look back and they remember things along the way that they did and saw. And yeah, so it was fun. But now I'm home and I feel like I don't want to go anywhere in a really long time. So yeah, so that also ties into my hack for this week. So having traveled, and especially when you do, airline travel or international travel, a hack is to really write down serial numbers and other important numbers. Like me, I have a green card number, passport number, credit card number, to write them down and keep them separate from the actual item. So in case anything gets lost, because it happens, then easier. It's an easier process to kind of either get a new one or get by if you do have the numbers, the serial numbers. So writing them down separately is something I strongly recommend.
I wish I would have known that hack when they lost my luggage
Well, there you
last
go.
year.
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah.
And I have hack. I forgot to mention the
Yes.
hack. So my hack is to put it sometimes again, credit cards, I guess,
Uh-huh.
with the pin, your debit card,
Mm-hmm.
put a sticker with a fake pin on it.
Uh-huh.
And if somebody happens to find it or steal it,
Yeah.
once they put it in wrong 3 times,
Yeah.
the ATM machine eats it up.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have any fraud.
Don't
Somebody
they know that though? Doesn't people know that? Well,
that you
maybe.
put a fake one. No, I
Yeah. Well,
mean,
like when it says you only have one time left.
but they'll probably try it again.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
All right.
So three
Oh,
times a charm. I
okay.
guess if somebody's trying to get money out, they'll
Yeah.
try it enough times to
Hmm.
lose the card.
Maybe we'll try another machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Fake pin.
yes.
But don't forget that it's fake, so don't try to put it in
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes, I guess you would have to remember that. That's another life hack. How to remember
That's
that's not your pin.
another life hack. That's right. All right. Are we ready to jump into
Let's do it.
the health well, the fountain of youth?
Yes. We all love the fountain of youth.
So, and this is something that has come up because we have talked about last week. We talked to with Jill Cruz, the nutritionist and weight management coach, about things we can do. I really love that episode. If you haven't checked it out, I think she gave such great hands-on tips that everyone can do. But we get questions too, like how do we do it? And we've been alluding to the fact that we
Mhm.
do intermittent fasting, and kind of we gotten some questions on that. So we figured, you know what? Let's talk about it. And again, as we said in the mental health episode, we are not doctors or any kind of healthcare professionals, nurses, or anything.
No.
So we're just speaking from experience and kind of what we have read up and other science around
Mhm.
it. But yes, any change you do to your diet or anything like that, you talk to your healthcare provider first. But let's jump in. Health as wealth, because it's truth. Being healthy is so important, and no money in the world can replace good health. So, talking from me, my personal perspective, I've always been, not always, I've always loved food. I've been interested in nutrition since I became a vegetarian at the age of 14, 15, because my mom refused to make 2 meals. So I had to learn to cook. And I think that
Ah.
kind of that brought on an interest in food and health.
Huh.
I've also been a fitness instructor for many, many years. So that too kind of brings on that interest in fitness and healthy lifestyle, not diets, but lifestyles. I'm also, as a kid, I was overweight. I was a chubby kid. So I think that also kind of brings on a slightly weird body image, even as an adult. And I'm by no means overweight now, but I think it's just something. If it starts early, we all have some hangups and issues, all of us, some more than others. But I think kind of getting over that also brought on the interest in learning how to eat well and not just put in whatever is in front of me. And this trip too with kids, and you're on buses and you have
Oh,
eighth
yeah.
graders and you eat meals in places that you probably wouldn't choose otherwise. I am a little scared. I'm a little worried I'm a little shocked and slightly appalled by the way we eat. And it's that kind of eating without thinking. Things just end up in our mouths easily. Um, and having traveled a lot too internationally, yes, it is a slightly global problem, but I will say, and I don't want to be mean, but it's a bigger problem in this country than in most. So it's all that processed foods that we eat. Things are not, it's not real food anymore. And when I say real food, it's like a potato, a sweet potato,
It's a potato now.
let's say mashed, it's processed, meaning someone has grinded something down and it comes from a box or a bag. No real food comes from a box or a bag. But it's been refined and turned into, first
Mhm.
grinded down, then turned into something else like a cracker or a chip or a breaded something. And that needs to stop, because we're literally eating ourselves to death with all that. All the seed oils used, all this stuff is just so bad for us. And of course, you don't want to be the mom on a school trip that goes, no, you can't eat that. But I really felt like I needed to have a discussion when we came home. Like, we need to stop all that, because it really is. It's a problem. It's a problem what we put in
Well,
our
it's
mouths.
it's become a norm,
Yeah,
like the new norm. If
yeah,
you are the mom, because I've been the mom,
yeah.
and I'm like, you should not eat that. Like, well, everybody else, it's
Hmm.
like you're 1 to 50,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's that uncomfortableness.
yeah.
But I also wanted to add, so I went to the fair
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
talking about
That's a trip to really good food, right?
I
Healthy food.
I did
Always
I
found at
I
the
did
fair.
have something that was so yummy. It's like, but it's not something I eat all the time. But I did encounter, so Sebastian
Mhm,
said he wanted a corn dog
mhm.
with
Oh.
Takis. So we had
Corn
a
dog is everything that's wrong.
and deep fried, okay, with cheese, processed cheese. Wait, with Takis,
Like the chip
like the
things?
chip
Oh
things.
god.
And
Okay.
it was brought on by a viral video
Okay.
that cost $15 for a corn dog
Wow.
to clog your arteries.
Yeah. There's not a single real thing in there anymore. It's been
She said, "Oh, it's 15." I'm like, "Wait,
processed.
what? How much is that?"
Oh god.
She's like, "Well,
Yeah.
think video." And I told, I was like, "Holy!" And of course, I got it for him, and I'm like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, mom, this is so good." And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, okay, that is not
Mm.
what I should have gotten him.
Yeah.
So,
But it's a fine line, especially with girls too, because when you talk about you can't eat that, and you don't want to be the one shaming into body
mhm,
images, and you don't, I think it's just we need to learn how to eat properly again,
yes,
real food, because that's, if you look back, what did our great grandparents eat? They ate real food that grew. They took it out of the earth, or they killed the cow, or whatever they did, but it was real. It didn't have all the other steps along. Now food comes out, then it goes through X amount of factories
hmm
to mill it down and turn it into something completely different. So the further away you come from the real food, the worse it is for you. Because also our bodies, when this is so refined and so turned into such small particles, that the body, all that fat absorbs really easily. The body does not have to go through the process of breaking it down. It just absorbs. And
yeah.
it's,
And to piggyback off what you said as how you grew up, I grew up in a household that you got stuff measured. Like, you
oh,
would get a plate, and it was literally from the pot, it was measured, and that's what you ate.
oh wow.
Whether or not you were hungry or not didn't matter.
Yeah.
And the relationship with food, my
Mhm.
relationship with food has been not so great. So
Mhm.
I come from like history of relationship, a complicated relationship with food,
Yeah.
to eating disorders, to now kind of figuring out how do I not pass that along
Mhm.
to my children
Mm.
because it's embedded.
Mhm.
You know, by default, I'm thinking in my head, okay, they shouldn't eat that. They shouldn't eat that. Or they should
Yeah.
eat that. Or what can they eat? Or what should I eat? So it's always this
Yeah.
thing in your head,
Yeah.
and you try not to pass it on to anyone else because
Mhm.
I don't want to be that person to somebody else, nor I need to figure out how I need to
Yeah.
eat.
But we also it's our job to educate as
It
parents.
is.
So that's
But
I'm
when
trying
you've
I know I
only
sound like
known,
a
so
yeah.
you know, when you've
Yeah.
only grown up with this,
And they don't
it's
learn this in school because there's no home ec. There's nothing
no.
like that. They learn nothing about nutrition. So I know my kids feel like I'm a broken record when I keep saying you need to eat this. It's good for that. Blah blah blah. But hopefully, I just hope that that repetition is gonna pay
But not
back.
only
You know what I mean?
that, I believe just the education on it.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a ooh, excuse me. It's about just understanding, hey, it's not that I don't want to eat. I don't want you
Yeah.
to eat Skittles.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Skittles are probably M&Ms. You know, I
Hmm.
think I don't eat them because I'm allergic to peanuts. But just understanding that it's not so much you cannot or you're forbidden, it's just
The amounts too, and
the
we don't need to
amount
do it every day.
and where it
Yes.
comes from.
Yeah.
It's maybe finding a different alternative.
Yeah.
So this can we can I mean, we've talked about this before. It can go on forever, but
Yeah.
it's just we just want to create somewhat of an awareness and kind of what has worked basically for us because I mean, the way you've grown up, I've grown up, we were always thinking of ways to be better. So we've just come up with
Yeah.
a
I'm
list.
also I'm a that the kids don't know. And it's not their fault because no one ever taught them. But I'm also a little shocked over how many grown-ups out there have no knowledge of nutrition whatsoever. Because and it's again because no one ever taught. But I've always felt like I wanted to know what you put in your body. Uh,
I think
and
some people don't care.
well,
I
we
mean,
have
to
this
be
one machine that needs to
yes,
be
but
oiled.
I think we have to be truthful. I
Or
mean,
maybe it
some
is
people
not
just
knowing what you don't know won't hurt you.
and it's
Maybe
ignorant. So
that's
it's
that.
ignorance
Yeah, yeah,
and not caring. Because some
yeah.
people just say that's what I want to eat. They say, you know, I only live once, and I think
Well, and that
you only
once will
die
be a lot
once.
shorter
Yeah.
if you can.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway,
it's
we can we maybe you feel like we're standing on a really tall soapbox today, but just hear us out.
yes.
Just hear us out because this is important stuff. It's really it's life and death stuff. One thing too, talking about the Skittles and the M&Ms, the sugar consumption has gone off the charts. And I'm not just talking candy. I'm talking about the sugar you don't think about. All
Mm.
the refined carbohydrates that turns into sugar in your body. And you know that eating a bagel, like a plain old bagel, can have on the label no sugar added. It's the equivalent of eating 11 teaspoons of sugar because it's a lot of carbohydrates in bagels. Bagels is boiled, so it's compressed, so it's really dense. 11. Then I rather eat M&Ms
And it's not really
than the white
sweet.
breads. Yes. So, but that's the problem. It's the sugar we don't see. So it's the sugar we don't
Yeah.
know it's
No, it's
sugar.
definitely
So
that
all
there's
that all that refined carbohydrates.
it just comes down to just the
Yeah.
knowledge, just knowing
Well, I think another problem with food is that it has such an emotional
yeah.
connection. And if you think about it, we kind of eat our feelings away. When we're depressed, we're like, oh, I'm just going to go home and have a bag of chips or eat a whole
Chocolate
container of,
ice cream.
yes. But then the flip side of that is then when we do something well and we celebrate, that's food related as well. We're going to have cake. Oh, I'm going to treat myself because I'm worthy. And it's food related.
Mm.
And I mean, in school, the teachers give kids candy as reward.
Or ice oh, ice cream parties. If they hit the air
Yeah,
goal, they get an
yep.
ice cream party.
So it's so
Oh
tied
gosh.
up to good or bad emotions as well. And it's not like you don't celebrate with carrots. You celebrate with ice cream or candy or all the and hear us out. I'm not saying you should never have have a sweet tooth, but you gotta pick.
Mhm.
It can't be all the time. It can't be this um, kind of thought or eating without even thinking about it. Is I believe in not completely cutting yourself off of everything, but you gotta be mindful.
Yeah.
And you gotta make sure you get the good stuff in there because otherwise that can balance it out. So another thing, talking about sugars, well, then people go, well, I only do sugar-free diet sodas, diet this, sugar-free that. And let me just say, that's even worse because they might be 0 calories, but these are artificial chemicals.
I used to
First
do
of
a
all,
diet
yeah, me
Coke.
too. Anything
Yeah.
that says sugar-free or fat-free, you thought, "Oh, that's great." I
Mm.
mean, in the '90s, that's all we ate was the fat-free stuff. And I thought first time I came to the US, there where you could find fat-free everything. I remember thinking, "Why is everyone so overweight when there's so much fat-free stuff?" Well, anything that says fat-free has way more sugar in it. But the artificial sweeteners, not only do they kill our microbiome, which is our gut bacteria that takes care of processing eating the bad bacteria and really keeps us healthy. It all starts in the gut. I think it was Aristoteles or someone way back that said that everything starts in the gut. So all the health starts there, but all those sweeteners kill your healthy gut bacteria. And they are so much sweeter than sugar itself. So it increases sugar cravings by eating the sugar-free stuff. So if that needs to just stop. If you need some sugar, then find something that's real, like stevia, because it comes from a plant, monk fruit, allulose, all of those things come from actual plants
Mm.
and real, or just use a little bit of sugar. But the sweet and low or the no,
Splenda, all
no, no,
that.
no. It just needs to stop.
Huh.
Um, Another thing too that is a huge problem is the diet mentality. So constantly being on a diet. It's this diet and that diet, and they're different. Always a new fad
Mhm.
coming up. I don't know. I've tried many in my
No,
somewhat
same thing
youth.
here, but also too when it comes to diet is instead of saying I'm on a diet, just be more
Well, it
conscientious.
needs to be a lifestyle.
Yes, it has to
So,
be something you're aware of.
and think of diets, anything where you need to take or eat something specific for an amount of time is not sustainable. So I'm talking about diets where you buy the food they provide. Well, how long are you going to do that? The time you start, you stop. When you reach your goal weight, you stop. You go back to eating the way you did before,
Mhm.
you gain weight again.
And
And
it's all
this,
processed because what is it in
yes,
the
it is all
mail? How do
processed.
you
It's
get
not,
chicken in the mail?
yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole other, well, anyway, and
Did you
and
see her
now
head spin when
too,
she
now too, these the medicines for diabetes, the Ozempic and all of those shots that that uh, uh, lessens hunger. That's now the new diet thing to do. Well, you can't be on Ozempic forever. So what happens the day you go off? So really, when thinking of diet, you need to think of a lifestyle, something that you can do for
Mm,
years and years and years and years. It needs to be a way of eating that really fits your lifestyle, but it's also something you can do for years to come. I mean, no one can afford being on these, meal
yes.
plans or so that really is
Hmm.
something too, I think, especially our generation. I am a little bit older, but uh, growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, there was a lot of different diets. And I think a lot of people are still in that kind of, oh, Monday, I'll just go on a diet. But really, it needs to be sustainable for the future, for all days to come.
Mhm.
So, um, we have found, Ingrid and or I found it and then I told her about it, kind of a lifestyle way of eating that really works for us. And it's called intermittent fasting. And what that means is just it's a time restricted, not food restricted, but time restricted way of eating. So instead of eating all day, every day, from morning to night, you have a certain window when you consume food. You don't have to worry so much about what you eat. Of course, with all the things we talked about, of course, you need to think about what you eat, but it's not a diet. You can still eat the foods that you love, but you do it during a certain window.
Mhm.
And there are different ways. There are some alternating day fasting, but we do the time restricted where you have an eating window and then you have a fasting window. And if we look at fasting overall, I mean, it's in all major religions, it's a practice you do for body cleansing, body and mind cleansing, mindfulness. So this is not new. We People have
So
done
say that
fasting
again.
forever.
Body
And
and mind
mind
clean
clean
cleanliness. Cleanse,
cleanse,
yes.
yes. Um, so why time restricted eating? Well, if you think about it, eating all the time, morning to night, never lets the body rest from digesting foods. So the whole you should eat 5 small meals or 8 small meals, it really is the worst thing you could do for your body, unless you have a medical condition where you need
Mm,
to do that, of
mhm.
course. But we're talking for people in general that don't have any specific health issues. Your body never gets to rest. So it's constantly processing foods, which can lead to more brain fogginess, sluggishness, tiredness, and really never gives the body a chance to reload and kind of rest.
Mm,
So by squeezing the window of when you eat into to a shorter time, the body will it's there's so many benefits of this, but I'm not going to go through them all. But it's great for I came to intermittent fasting not for as a weight loss per se, but more because I'm getting to that age, or we are, I'm sorry you're in the same group, but where
not your group yet. I'm just kidding.
hormones are going to be important. So I heard about it that it was a great way to balance your hormones. So I thought, well, that would be a great proactive thing to do. So that's why I started doing intermittent fasting, just to kind of be mindful of hormone balances. And what it does is it really lets the cells too, all your it cleans out when you're not eating, you get into something over an extended time, get into something called autophagy. And that's really when the cells clean out. It's like get rid of the trash. So damaged cells get flushed out of your system, which then helps with running everything smoothly. Um, and what it also does, it's your metabolic rate increases. And okay, let's get into that because this is, I think, just when I learned about this, it explains everything. So metabolic rate is how fast your metabolism is. So if you constantly eat, yes, you will have a certain metabolism, and but if you're doing it constantly, you're giving your body glucose, sugar, constantly, and it really doesn't. There will be no highs. It will just be on a kind of a low burning metabolism throughout. When your body gets to re- rest from eating or doesn't
Mm,
constantly get nutrients and sugars, it will go to your storage. which is also known as your fat depots, and pick energy from there. So if you're constantly eating, you're never going to get rid of the fat that you're storing on your body. It's almost impossible to lose weight if you're constantly eating, regardless of what you're eating. But if you're giving your body hours of rest, it will go to your fat depots. The problem is, most people are not metabolically flexible, which means you can only get energy from sugars. So, when someone is hangry, like, oh, I get a headache, I gotta eat, I'm gonna faint, it's because they're not metabolically flexible, meaning your body can only turn sugar into energy. It will
Hmm.
never go to the fat storage because it doesn't know what to do with fat. Can't turn fat into energy. When you are metabolically flexible, you can turn sugar, protein, and fat into energy. And that's when you go into the storage and say, wait a minute, we're not getting any food here. Maybe we'll just go to the storage unit, i.e., your belly or your butt. We have some stored away energy. Let's get it out of there. So did I explain that well enough?
I think so. So,
I'm sure it's a super simplified, but I'm not going to get into detail. And again, I am not
well, that
a.
happened at the beginning. So I started fasting. So I heard
Mhm.
about this and I was like, oh, and I was like, no, no, I usually go in the morning. I'll have a cup of coffee right when I get back from the gym and I get busy and I wouldn't eat until later that day and probably another cup of coffee or two or three, and then maybe eat dinner, walking, standing. So it was not so great.
Mhm.
So I started fasting and I started kind of just starting a little later
Mhm.
my eating and kind
Mhm.
of being more aware of what I ate. But I remember when I first started, I would get hangry.
Mhm. Because you hadn't switched. It takes a while for the
Yeah,
body
I
to
was
do
like,
that
I
switch.
told Christina, I was like, this is not
Yep.
fun.
Yep.
Now I am good. My coffee has gone down.
Mhm.
So instead of like 5 cups of coffee, like two,
Mhm.
maybe one. Like I don't
Yeah.
need
Same.
that
Same here.
that
Same
coffee,
here.
and it's black,
Yes.
which I thought she was crazy when she
Me too.
said
I thought I was crazy when I
I
started.
was drinking coffee like this the first few days. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, black coffee. Now it's
And why, we need to explain why black coffee and not coffee with creamer and sugar. Because if you're fasting, you cannot
yes.
consume any protein, any sugar, or any fat. Coffee has a bitter uh, flavor profile, so it will not increase your insulin levels, and it will not
Hmm.
spike anything. So you can have black coffee, you can have black tea, you can have
Yeah,
water.
I would have more tea now.
Yep.
So it's been really, and it's
Yeah.
not
Well, the
hard.
problem you were doing too. So the problem what Ingrid was doing is she had coffee with creamer or protein powder or something
Hmm.
in the morning, which breaks the fast. And then you were starving yourself all day and got hangry because again, your body could not get energy from your fat depots
Hmm.
because it didn't know how to
Yeah.
do it.
And it wasn't on purpose. I was just
Yeah.
busy, so I
Yeah.
wasn't making time. So now aware of,
Hmm.
okay, this is the time I get to eat. Now I'm prepared. Okay, I can have, I have my foods, prepared where I
Hmm.
work or where I am to just eat. I
Yeah.
don't have to, wait at a certain time. I just eat and then I know when to stop,
Yeah.
which has been super easy.
Yeah. So some other just
Yeah.
benefits from fasting is, well, weight loss is a benefit,
Oh,
even though
that
you're
too.
not on a diet, um, because you are, again, the body is getting used to getting metabolically flexible,
Mhm.
so it can getting into the storage unit will make you lose weight. You become insulin resistant, which insulin resistance is another issue. That's why we have so many diabetics, type 2 diabetics in this country, because they're not insulin sensitive. So we reduce our uh, uh, blood sugar levels by not eating constantly. And that's kind of self-explanatory.
Mhm.
If you're not constantly adding sugar, your sugar levels will go down.
And headaches.
And headaches, yes. And headache again comes from not knowing where to get energy from.
I had the worst.
Yes. Yes, you had it. So we're going to go into
Yeah.
our
Oh
benefits
gosh.
that we've noticed. So you get that metabolic switch where
Mhm.
um, you get increased energy because again, the body knows where to find energy all the time. It doesn't come from foods, just the foods you eat. It can go into storage. I feel that too. I have a better focus because again, with eating, you get tired because all the blood and the energy goes to processing foods. So I feel when I'm in a fasted state, I am more alert. I have better energy. And I have better energy overall, I think now, more so. Less coffee, but better energy.
Mhm.
And better reduced inflammations in your body. Because again, a lot of the foods we eat are increases inflammation, and by letting the body rest, you reduce inflammations. Lower the cholesterol, again, that kind of self-explanatory. Clear skin, and this is one for my kids because they are fighting acne, and what you put in will pop out on your skin. As an esthetician, you're very aware of that.
Yes.
So by not eating all the time, resting, even if you might eat some unhealthy foods when you eat, you're not doing it all the time, and therefore your skin is going to be clearer. And again, with the hormones, you
Hmm.
stabilize it. And also, it is delayed aging with, because again, the cells.
Well, that explains.
So, I mean, not that we need it. That is a benefit that I think should probably jump to the top of the
I
list.
think so.
Yes. So, just to explain, so I have to do. This is not something you start with. Jump in the deep
Mm.
end. So I do probably a between 18 and 19-hour fast every day. So then that means I have a 5 to 6 hour eating window. So usually I stop eating. We eat late because with kids and everything, we eat dinner together. I probably stop eating 8, sometimes 9. And then I won't eat until 2 or 3, sometimes 4 the following day. And I didn't start there. I started with a 12-hour window or 10-hour and then moved to a 12, 13, 14, kind of slowly adding the fasting time. And that's the way to do it, because otherwise you're gonna crash. You're gonna get those headaches,
You're
and
gonna be pissed.
you're gonna be hangry. But really, what you could do, a great way to do it, and I know that's how you did it too,
Mhm.
is to kind of each week push 1 hour. So say that you usually have breakfast at 8, have breakfast at 9 next week. The following week, have it at 10. The following week, skip it, have an early lunch at 11. And then you can slowly, and then you'll find, it also depends on if you want to lose a lot of weight. The longer the window, the more weight you're going to lose. But really, just finding sustainability in it. So probably for me, 18-hour window is pretty comfortable. And I do take Sundays off. So that Sundays I do whatever I feel like. But I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
I can look forward to eating. I can be like, ooh, that's going to be so good. But it's not like oh my God, I'm famished. I haven't been famished in
Yeah.
6 months. And you do really, I think it's true. Your awareness of what you put in your window, what you put in that window.
Yes, that's been
If you only have
huge.
6 hours to eat, there better be some good, nutritious food. I'm not going to eat junk because that's kind of like a waste of my hours. So eating, you
Mhm.
become much more aware of what is window worthy and what is not. So why don't you tell them how you do it?
So I start at noon now, I think it is. Gosh, noon to 8, sometimes 9, depending with
Yeah,
the
and you get
kids.
up at 5, so that's a long time to be awake.
Yes, and I mean, the first few times was really difficult because I'm like, well, I'll just have maybe a little creamer. So I don't even buy it.
Yeah,
I don't even
because
buy
then
the
again, the
creamer.
creamer, then you
I break,
cut the
yes.
fast. You break the fast and then kind of Well, that's a waste.
And I'm a little hard on myself, so I'm like, I'm not gonna waste a creamer to just break my fast. Just suck it up. So
Mhm,
I just don't buy it. But for me, the headaches
mhm.
have
Yeah, your
almost,
migraines,
and
yeah.
I mean, when I tell you migraines, they were bad.
Mm,
It was just really, really bad. My cycles,
yeah,
my pain, I would curl up in a ball.
yeah.
Now I don't curl up in a ball.
That's
Bloat.
huge.
I mean, when I was just miserable. I'm still in some pain,
Mhm,
but I was taking Motrin,
mhm.
1,000 milligrams every few hours, which
Oh,
is probably not great.
yeah, not great for your gut line,
Yes.
microbiome, gut line. Mhm.
Um, and now I don't even take Motrin.
Yeah,
I haven't taken Motrin probably 3 months.
yeah.
And
That's
bloat. I'm not bloated
yeah,
during my cycle. And I've lost now, it's been what, 2, 3 months almost?
yeah.
10 pounds,
That's pretty cool.
which is, it's not, and I love that because,
Yeah.
you know,
And
it's nice.
the weight loss doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you will lose weight because there's a lot of water weight too that kind of
Yeah,
flushes
it's
out.
more, my body's more firm. Like it's
Yes.
not so
Mhm,
soft, which is
mhm.
really awesome.
Yeah.
My hair is actually shinier and healthier.
Yeah, that's right.
And really funny. So when people come see me at the spa,
Mhm.
the first thing I ask them when they have a lot of acne is what they eat. What do
Yeah,
they eat?
yeah,
So
absolutely. Goes
it's
hand in hand.
and again, it's I'm more aware when I do have that time to eat.
Yeah,
I'm a little picky
yeah. You want it to
because
be good,
yeah, because I'm like I'm not
good
just gonna
stuff.
eat
And it's also,
junk.
as a vegetarian, protein is a sort, it's hard to get good protein,
Hmm.
or not hard, but you got to be mindful of it. So I'm really making sure that what I eat is not a waste, because then you get full on the wrong stuff. So I
Hmm.
want to make sure that I get the amount of protein. But for me too, benefits that I've seen, I said increased energy, also body recomposition. So she was
That's
talking
yeah.
about the softness. I, even as a quite lean person, having been a fitness instructor this long, I know I'm super strong. I know I'm muscular, but you couldn't see it. It was like I had this layer of padding. I'm like, where are they? And you see these other cut women, and you're like, what? And I feel like I finally got rid of the padding. It's more defined.
I'm still working on my
Um,
padding.
so yeah, see there. But I finally feel like, okay, now I can tell where the muscles are. So
Hmm.
definitely, weight loss hasn't been. I mean, I lost some pounds too, but it really isn't always about the loss, because
Hmm.
getting inflammations out and also eating the right things, getting more muscle mass might not make you lose weight, but you're losing the body fat.
But I think with the weight loss, I knew I had the extra
Yeah,
padding.
yeah.
I believe that once your body figures out what it needs to do,
Hmm.
everything now, you said it the other day, you're getting stronger. You're
Yeah,
lifting more weight.
yeah,
So you're not having to worry about losing weight, but
yeah,
whatever you put into
yeah,
your body's saying, thank you.
yeah,
Let's put it where
yeah,
it needs to go versus when you are a little heavier,
yeah.
it's your first few months of fasting, your body's like, okay, well, let's see what I
Getting
can
used to
do.
it. Yeah, it takes a
So,
good couple of months to
so you're not going
get
to
into it.
continue possibly losing any weight,
No,
but your composition, the way you look
but it's
is,
also easy. So when traveling now, of course, my fasting has been a little, but it's so great when you're on a plane. I'm like, I'm just not going to eat this crappy food. I'm just going to fast, and you don't
mhm,
have to worry about it. Like, I'm gonna have some black coffee, I'm gonna have water, and I'm not gonna worry about airplane food because I don't have to eat right now. I'm not that
yeah.
hungry. It's gonna be fine. I'll eat when I land, when I know when I can. And I think it's really, as an entrepreneur, it's such a time saver because you're not constantly thinking or planning or doing with food. It's just, the way I see it is like, I work out, I work, and then I eat. So it really is not, oh, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do? I need to do breakfast. I need to do lunch. I need to.
No,
No,
it's,
you get
yeah.
so much freed up time, I feel. And yeah, That's pretty cool, right?
It is. I mean, so far so good. I mean,
So
I'm still
again,
learning.
again, this might not be for you, but I think it's definitely been worth the while for us. And to me, just the science behind it makes so much sense. Because if you look at the amount people just pop stuff in their mouths all the time and they wonder why they gain weight, or they're restricted what they eat to where it's such a bare minimum, your metabolism is completely shuttered,
Mm.
which I think was one of your problems because you didn't eat much, but your metabolism, your metabolic rate was just shattered.
And I wasn't heavy.
No, but
I
you
was
just
just
it was just for the amount you ate. I mean, you ate like a little bird.
correction, birds eat a lot.
Okay, she ate like a small child. Yes.
Really cool.
But yeah.
Just talking about entrepreneurs.
Mhm,
So that just went what you just said about how we gain weight and we're not sure.
mhm.
As an entrepreneur, networking is super important,
Yeah.
and doing a lot of networking or going to a lot of networking events, you eat here, you eat there, you have a glass of wine here, there. It's not a lot, but you
Mhm,
do it 2, 3, 4 times a week.
mhm,
All of a sudden, those size 8 jeans you wore when you started your business,
mhm,
you're a size 10, 12.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
you've just, you
Yeah, if you
know,
do it but if you do it within your eating window, a few
correct.
because again, I want to clarify, I still drink wine most days of the week. Just saying,
No,
but I do it in my eating
but
window.
knowing that, I just
Yes.
believe, a lot of people ask us, how do you do it? How do you always, look healthy and look
Mhm.
nice, and the clothes we dress and how we look, it's
Yeah. It's you got to think about how you eat and what you eat. It's, this again, it's a
they
machine.
say how you look like what you eat.
You you look like you and you
I
eat
don't want
what.
to look like an Oreo.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's right. So we talked about muscle mass. So I just want to touch on this too because exercise is something that
Mm.
we all have always been very much into. Um, and one of the issues I see, particularly with women, is they do not take weightlifting seriously. So we think that in order to lose weight, we need to do cardio. And we do classes and spin classes and dance and Zumba and all of this. And I'm a runner. I run almost every day. I love running, but it's also mental clarity. But us women in particular need to lift heavy weights, not little baby dumbbells. We need to lift heavy to where our muscles really strain because our bones deteriorate at a very quick rate, especially when we go into menopause. Men don't have that same issue. So the more muscle mass you have, the more you stabilize your joints and your
Mm.
bones. So really, and again, being a fitness, well, I've been a body pump instructor for many, many years, and that's a weightlifting class. So this really, I see it so often that people that come to my class, and I have women and men of all ages, but many of them say, wow, when I went to my doctor to take my bone density test, it really has improved so much after taking body pump. So it really is so important for us women. Heavy weightlifting is not just for teenage boys, it is for us women, especially as we move through perimenopause and menopause. So don't forget about the muscles.
I love lifting heavy. It's
Yes.
a sense of
Yes.
aggravation
Yeah.
release.
And it's been proven that people with that lift heavy weights live longer. Again, it
Ah,
has to do with
I love
uh,
it.
the metabolism, lower cholesterol, all of that. But you also improve your endurance and your overall athletic performance. So as entrepreneurs, sometimes we need to work hard, long hours. The more muscle mass you have, the better you're suited for those kind of
Hmm,
crunch hours.
I love it.
And it improves your mood.
No, that I love.
Yeah. So don't forget, yes, food, super important. Exercise is important. Any type of way you move your body, yes. But just doing housework or yard work is not enough for us women
That doesn't
as we
help my
age.
mood.
No, it anything that moves helps, but you need to lift
Yeah,
heavy weights.
I love it.
Yeah. So should we go down, get down from our soapbox now? Well, we hope we didn't want to preach too much, but this is super important. This is life and death. And I'm so sad when I see people that I love that are not feeling great health wise. And I know why. It's obvious why.
Yeah.
And I don't want to tell them, you should do this, you should do that, because I don't think unsolicited advice is not always welcome. So I hope that maybe you got a nugget out of this,
Yeah, and it goes
something that'll
far
help.
back, like we talked about, when we were growing up.
Hmm.
So food is just, unfortunately, it's just
Well, the
the
problem
root
too
of
is,
a whole lot
yeah,
of
root
stuff.
of a
Yeah.
lot. But the problem is now we don't see food as medicine anymore. Our ancestors saw food as medicine.
Mhm.
Now food is just food, is for pleasure, and then we take medicines. We take an enormous amount of medicine where food can help you not develop what you need medicines for. So really think of food as
That is so crazy
nutrition.
you just said that, because before, you grandma had like the remedy,
Hmm.
some lemon, ginger,
Yes,
honey. Now
exactly.
it's like,
Here's a
hey,
pill. Here's a
yeah.
prescription. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, of course,
I mean that
the health industry and the pharmaceutical
pharmaceutical.
industry loves that,
Gosh.
but no, turn to food first, and then if it's something that can't be helped, then you turn to medicine, not the other way around.
That's my brain just went like no, because yeah, I
Yep.
mean,
No, all the home remedies did not include uh, off the shelf, or prescribed medications.
no, I
It was
was
real foods that
yeah, I mean,
combined in
you
different
would you
ways.
would combine different
Yep.
things and go put this underneath your arms
Hmm.
and it'll put away the fever. Now it's take 1,000 milligrams
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
that white pill. Which one?
Yeah.
Which white one?
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. Well,
Yes. Okay. I think that was a lot. And please, if you have any questions and more, again, there are some great books. I'm going to link some books. And again, we have no affiliation yet.
yes.
But there are some great books on this subject: intermittent fasting, different ways of doing it, and why it's a great idea.
Mhm.
We will link that in the show notes. I've read almost all of them. And yeah.
Yeah. But and then also this episode became an episode because a lot of people were asking
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
what we were
What we were
doing
doing.
and how we were doing it. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
how we do
This
it.
is how we do it.
Hey, Christina.
All right. Well, here's to our health, right?
Yes.
And a little bit of alcohol does not deteriorate your health. Just saying.
Cheers.
Cheers.